What's up, wildlings? Colin here, back for another Ancestral Mind video. Today's topic is written on my handy little whiteboard, which I'm going to also repeat for the YouTube algorithm. How many calories should I eat or should you eat on a carnivore diet? Carnivore could also be substituted with keto diet or paleo diet or real food diet or WW diet or any of the common popular diets that you might be following right now. How many calories to eat on any diet is really what the title of the video should be, but I'm going to focus also on carnivore just a little bit because that's what I'm doing right now and because there's a lot of opportunity there in the SEO to take advantage of that. But just keep in mind, if you aren't doing carnivore, or maybe you're doing something like keto, a little bit more paleo-ish, a little bit more real food-ish, that's totally fine because a lot of what you're going to do on a carnivore diet to figure out how many calories you need to eat, you can also do on pretty much any diet. So let's get right to number one. The first question that you have to ask yourself to figure out how many calories to eat is, are you intermittent fasting? Are you using some form of meal timing and when you're eating your meals and when you're spacing out the fasting periods in between feeding? Because until you are having a period of time where your body can get into a fasting mode and into a fat burning and autophagy mode and all the reasons that fasting is so good for you, until you can do that, it's really, really hard to reset your appetite. It's really, really hard to reset your hormones, which is connected to appetite. So you have to ask yourself, am I doing that already? Because if I'm not, I would probably do well to start moving my feeding during the day to a compressed window. Now, I have a ton of other videos on fasting. I'll put one up on the card right up here. Basically, if you're eating throughout the day or you're snacking, even worse, the bane of any diet or weight loss or fat loss, please do not snack. Please do not snack.
Please help them see the light. Snacking is what makes you fat and sick.
It's going to be hard to figure out what your body set point is and what your appetite set point is to support that body set point. And if you have fat to lose and you're trying to lose weight right now, well, you really need to be utilizing fasting. So like I said, again, figure that out, but that's the first question you have to ask. And if you're doing a carnivore, keto, paleo, whatever it is, you need to figure out, am I utilizing intermittent fasting? Could I compress my feeding window a little bit so that I can give my body that longer fasting period, which is going to give me all the benefits? It's going to let my appetite come down, it's going to let my hormones come down, and it's going to give me a truer, closer representation of how many calories I should actually eat in a day. And when you do that, you can then listen to your body, and your body will tell you. The second most important question for really any diet, but especially if you're trying to figure out how much food to eat, or especially if you're trying to lose weight, what food sources are you consuming? Are you eating whole foods that require chewing, like a steak or like a chicken breast, or even if you're doing vegetables, like a big thing of broccoli? Or are you eating heavily processed, highly palatable foods? Even some foods that might be paleo or that might be real ingredients, real food, something like a cassava chip, for example. The problem is your body can consume that so fast, and something like cassava or even an organic potato chip has pretty much no nutrition. It's just straight carbohydrate. So your body is eating it and it likes the flavor, so it wants to eat more, but it's also looking for nutrition, which is not existent in that food. And so you eat more and more and more and more. And so you consume too much and you trigger all that hormone release as a result, which then throws off your appetite, and you can never get down to the baseline of how many calories should I eat. So if you're not eating the bulk of your foods in the form of whole food, not something you drink, right? Not drinking your calories, not having a snack-like thing or some easy thing that comes in a little box that you can eat on the go or whatever. There's a time and place for those, right? Maybe when you're traveling. At home, the bulk of your meals should be foods that require preparation and that require, I said that funny, require you to chew it. In fact, fun fact, side fact, did you know that most of the reason why we have dentists today and kids have to get their wisdom teeth removed is because they grow up on processed food that have been completely and utterly turned to mush through food processing, cooking down, etc. The jaws don't impact and the wisdom teeth get all screwed up. The teeth don't grow the same way. Go to any hunter-gatherer and look at their teeth. In fact, Weston Price did this back in the day. He was so surprised that there was such a lack of cavities, there was no wisdom teeth issues, that he wanted to observe why are these native peoples, when he was traveling the world and observing them, and he started taking pictures of their teeth, why do they not have the problems that we're having in the West? Why is that? And that eventually led to like the whole Weston Price Foundation, which is now real focused on eating ancestrally, eating food that our ancestors would have eaten, eating food that hunter-gatherers eat. Fun fact. So back to the video. Eating highly palatable, meaning easy to chew, taste, yummy, whatever, go down really quickly, whole bag, you gotta stop that. There is no way you're gonna be able to figure out how many calories your body needs in a day when you're consuming foods like that. Move all of that eating to a meal, right? A big plate of food, ideally animal-based protein here, and if you're doing veggies, some veggies here, maybe something like a sweet potato starch here, lots of fat, butter, avocado oil, etc. And if you want to learn more about what fats to use, check out my video there. And that should be the base of every meal. And when you move to that, and you're doing that twice a day, maybe 3 times a day max, and that's the core of how you're eating, your metabolism and your appetite is going to reflect that, and it's going to down-regulate to get down to the baseline of what is most natural for your body. And when you do that, you will figure out how many calories you should be eating in a day. A quick example of this is if I have 1,000 calories in a smoothie, or even if it was pure fat like heavy cream, and I'm just gonna drink this heavy cream, right? And I have 1,000 calories from a piece of chicken, steak, shredded pork, whatever. Like, you can compare these two, right? I'll put a little graphic up for them. This goes down very quickly, and it goes down to the point where your body doesn't have time to figure out that it's full, and so it leads you to overeating. This side, on the other hand, requires chewing and gnawing, and your body gets filled up fast because it's not digested. Like, you're swallowing partially digested food that's still big clumps that take up space in your stomach. It also releases hormones that tell you to stop eating. Whereas when you drink your calories and you eat 1,000 calories of cassava chips or potato chips or something like that, again, your body doesn't have time to adjust. Your body doesn't have time to sense what's going on. And because those highly palatable foods are usually so low in nutrition, your body is craving more. It's craving the nutrients it needs. And so it just says,
keep eating, keep eating, keep eating.
The final number 3 on the nifty board that I wrote down, stay hydrated. A lot of times we eat when we're really thirsty. And a lot of hunger cravings come through boredom, come through being dehydrated, and drinking more throughout the day is going to help you get closer to that baseline of figuring out what calories you need to eat on a regular basis. Okay, that can also improve digestion, and in our toxic modern world with all the things that are in our environment, from the literal boards that are in this room right here, to this table I bought that's off-gassing, to the lights, to the things in the air, water helps our body move things through our system, and you don't want a lot of these environmental toxins to get locked up in your fat storage and things like that. So drinking water can help do that. I've been of the opinion that the whole gallon of water thing is completely unnecessary, and I think a gallon of water is definitely extreme. But drinking more and staying hydrated, like, it's really important, guys. And I probably didn't think it was as important as it is, and I've changed my mind on that. But that's only because of the environment we live in today. In the wild, we would not have had to drink that much water that often. Like, that's kind of a fallacy. But in our modern environment, I think water does help us, even if it gets a little bit of a boost for these various reasons of keeping us full, of detoxing, of moving things through our body, etc. So make sure you're staying hydrated, and that will help you figure out how many calories a day you do need on whatever your diet is, or your carnivore diet, because I know it's not the title. So let's recap what we went over today before we close this video. Short and sweet, to the point. Let's get that glare out of there. Okay. Are you IFing? IFing, intermittent fasting. If you aren't, start. Easy way to start is to skip breakfast, have your first meal whenever you're hungry, lunchtime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 p.m., whatever works for you, and then have your second meal between 6 to 8 hours after that, and then be done for the day. That'll give you a 16 or more hour fasting window. Carry it over to the next day, and then you repeat the process again. Skip breakfast, break your fast a little bit after that, etc. That's my preferred way. I now do probably like a 4 to 6 hour window where I do 2 meals. First meal's bigger, and then I have a smaller meal after that, usually within 5 hours, and I'm done for the day. And so I'm effectively getting about an 18 to 20 hour fast. Tons of videos on that, linked below, obviously on YouTube, etc. It'll change your life. It's awesome. Start fasting. Okay, number 2 is a whole foods or processed foods as the base of your diet. Are you going for convenience foods? Are you letting corporations and restaurants cook your food for you and process it for you? Or are you taking raw ingredients home and prepping real whole foods that you have to chew and gnaw on? You want to be eating those whole foods. I mean, that's the only way you're gonna be able to use all the mechanics of your body and the chemistry of your stomach and hormones, ghrelin and leptin, all these things, so that you can get down to the baseline of how many calories should you be eating on a daily basis on carnivore diet, paleo, real food, any diet. This is universal, guys and gals. Universal. Whole food. First principle of human health. Don't ignore it. That should really be its own video, but you got it in this video, so you're welcome. Very, very important, okay? Number 3, water. We covered that. Water. It's important for a lot of reasons. It'll help keep you full. It'll help prevent hunger pains. It'll help you from eating when you're really just thirsty. On and on and on and on and on go. So now what you need to do now that we come to the end of the video, you need to thumbs up, That's really ugly. And then you need to like. Wait, isn't liking thumbs upping? I'm like literally getting my Facebook and YouTube confused. I'm like merging the two because I know you can. Wow, mind blown. Oh my gosh. And then subscribe. And then hit that bell. Is that a freaking bell? Wow. Hit the bell, turn it on. I got lots more coming. I'm doing literally 4 to 5 videos a week, invested in the studio here. I'm excited. I want you to be excited. Let's get that message out there. Real food, whole food. Say no to processed food. Say no to big pharma. Say no to the dogma from all the charlatans and the really bad medical establishment and the people trying to sell you drugs and they try to tell you to have surgery and blah, 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 blah. It's really bad. And this is why I'm doing this. I want to save my son's generation. I want to save as many of you out there today and help you reach the goals you want. Because when you get down to the point where you're healthy and fit and you feel good and you have control of your appetite and you're fasting and you're sleeping, there's nothing better. And you can't buy that. You cannot buy that with money. You can buy these things by taking action through using proper information. And then you can get those results. And then you can share those results with other people and show people how to make change by being the exemplar of change, by being the perfect example of it. That's what I want for you and your children and your friends and your family. So I'm the Wild CEO. Thanks again for watching this video and doing all those things that I so poorly drew out. I hope to see you in the next one.